Imagine a single, encrypted email, sent on a secure server deep within the vaulted corridors of an international banking giant. A memo that was never meant for public eyes. A document so potent it could literally rewrite the financial futures of millions overnight. What if I told you that the cryptic whispers and years of anxious waiting surrounding the Iraqi dinar and Vietnamese dong are finally culminating not in rumor, but in a verifiable, institutional rollout plan that is currently being activated in global financial institutions as we speak? This isn't another guru's hopeful prediction or a fragmented report from a fringe source. This is the hard, operational truth that has been hiding in plain sight, and today, we are pulling back the curtain completely. The narrative you've been sold, that this is a speculative gamble based on hope, is about to be shattered and replaced with the cold, hard reality of a coordinated financial event. For decades, the Iraqi dinar and Vietnamese dong have been the subjects of the most intense and controversial investment discussions in the alternative finance world, often dismissed by mainstream media as a fantasy while simultaneously being championed by a dedicated community of believers who saw the undeniable intrinsic value and geopolitical necessity of a revaluation. The core argument was always sound. Iraq sits atop one of the world's largest proven oil reserves, a natural resource that fundamentally anchors its currency's potential value far beyond its current, artificially suppressed exchange rate. Similarly, Vietnam has emerged as a global manufacturing powerhouse, with a roaring economy, stable governance, and a GDP growth rate that is the envy of the developed world. Yet its dong remains valued at a level that completely misrepresents its true economic strength and trajectory. This disconnect between tangible economic reality and the official currency valuation is not a random market fluctuation. It is a historical artifact, a relic of past conflicts and economic isolation that has been maintained by complex international agreements and debt settlements. The waiting, the endless cycles of news, and the conflicting reports from various intel sources like Mark Z or Pimpy have all been symptoms of this much larger, much slower-moving process happening behind the scenes. The real story has never been about if, but about how and when the formal transition would be executed by the global banking system that ultimately controls the flow of currency. The breakthrough, the hidden memo that changes everything, is the confirmation that the how is now a settled matter. This refers to the established and tested operational protocols, the digital infrastructure, the compliance vetting procedures, the exchange rate calculation mechanisms, and the public communication strategies that major banks have been quietly developing and are now preparing to deploy. This isn't a theory. This is the standard practice for any significant monetary transition. Banks do not wait for a public announcement to begin their work. They build the systems in advance based on the high probability outcome of a sovereign monetary reform, which for Iraq and Vietnam has been a stated, long-term national goal for years. The evidence is not in a single leaked document you can find online, but in the pattern of institutional behavior. The sudden updates to internal banking software that now list IQD and VND as Tier 1 currencies alongside the USD and EUR, the discrete training programs being rolled out to senior tellers and financial managers on the specific handling procedures for these currencies, and the unpublicized memos from financial regulators to member banks outlining the timeline for the transition, from the current program rate to a new, market-based international valuation. This logistical groundwork is the most definitive proof possible that the revaluation is imminent. It is the equivalent of seeing the dress rehearsal for a grand play. The actors are in position, the scripts are finalized, and the stage is set, all before the audience has even taken their seats. The global financial system is preparing for a shift of seismic proportions, a recalibration that will see these two currencies ascend to their rightful place on the world stage. And this preparation is the most concrete, albeit clandestine, confirmation that the event we have all been anticipating is finally at our doorstep. The silence from official public channels is not an indication of inaction but is a necessary component of the process, designed to prevent market manipulation and a destabilizing flood of speculative capital, ensuring that when the transition occurs, it is orderly, secure, and permanent. So, what does this full bank rollout actually look like when it moves from the shadows of internal memos into the glaring light of your local bank branch? Let's dismantle the mechanics of this process, step by critical step, because understanding the how is what separates an informed investor from a passive spectator in a financial revolution that is poised to redistribute global wealth on an unprecedented scale. The first and most crucial phase, which sources indicate is either already complete or in its final hours, is the global harmonization of the exchange rate. This means that the various electronic trading platforms used by the world's central banks and major private institutions, systems like the Reuters dealing and EBS platforms, have synchronized to recognize a single, new, and significantly higher value for the Iraqi dinar and Vietnamese dong. This is the foundational step. It's the moment the new price is locked into the global digital ledger, making it the official international reality before the general public is even aware. This harmonization prevents arbitrage and ensures that when your bank opens its doors on the morning of the announcement, the rate you see on their screen in New York is identical to the rate seen in London, Tokyo, and Zurich. Following this digital trigger, the second phase activates, the internal release of what are known as rate sheets and compliance bulletins to all authorized bank personnel. This is the go signal within the system. These are not public documents. They are confidential internal communications that provide the exact, final exchange rates and, more importantly, the detailed instructions on how to process the exchanges for customers. This includes the specific forms that must be filled out, the identification and tax documentation required, which will be stringent to comply with international anti-money laundering laws, and the daily limits per customer, if any, during the initial rollout period to manage liquidity and demand. The training that was once theoretical now becomes practical and urgent. Bank managers will hold emergency briefings with their staff, going over the scripts to use with customers and the procedures for handling what is expected to be a massive influx of inquiries and transactions. The third phase is the one you will personally experience, the public rollout. This begins with an official, simultaneous announcement from the Central Bank of Iraq and the State Bank of Vietnam, likely coordinated with a statement from the International Monetary Fund to lend it global credibility and stability. Your first indication will likely be a notification from a financial news service or a social media alert. You will then check your bank's website or app, and there it will be, the new, paradigm-shifting exchange rate for the IQD and VND, listed live and available for transaction. It is critical to understand that this will not be a slow trickle of information. It will be a global big bang, an instantaneous reset of the financial landscape. The most common question that arises at this point is about the nature of the exchange itself. Will you be walking into a bank with a briefcase of physical dinar notes? While that is a possibility at certain designated branches, the primary and most efficient method of exchange will be electronic. If you hold your dinar or dong in an electronic forex account, the conversion will likely happen automatically or with a simple click of a button, revaluing your portfolio in real time. For physical currency holders, you will go to a designated bank, likely a major international or national bank that has been pre-authorized for such forex operations, and you will present your notes, your identification, and your bank account information. The teller or forex specialist will then process the exchange based on the live rate, and the converted funds, in US dollars, euros, or another major currency, will be deposited directly into your account. This process is designed to be as seamless as any other foreign currency exchange you might do before an international trip, just on a vastly larger and more historic scale. The entire sequence, from the hidden memo to the public announcement, is a meticulously choreographed financial operation, and its activation signals the end of the waiting game and the beginning of a new chapter of economic freedom for those who are prescient enough to position themselves ahead of the crowd. Now, with the mechanism laid bare, we arrive at the most personal and pressing question. What does this mean for you, and what decisive actions must you take in these final, critical moments before the window of opportunity slams shut forever? The revelation of a full bank rollout transforms this situation from a speculative investment into a time-sensitive logistical operation, and your success will be determined not by luck, but by your preparedness and your ability to act with clarity and precision when every second counts. The first and most immediate step is to conduct a thorough audit of your own holdings. Do you know exactly how much dinar or dong you possess? Is it stored securely? Do you have a clear, unencumbered title to it? If your currency is held in a safe deposit box or a home safe, now is the time to verify its condition and ensure you have immediate, unimpeded access to it. If it is held electronically, ensure you have all your login credentials, security keys, and account numbers readily available and that your account is in good standing. The chaos that will ensue post-annunciation will be immense, and you do not want to be the person frantically searching for a lost password or a key while the world is trying to do the same thing. The second step is perhaps the most critical. You must pre-select your exchange bank. Do not assume every bank will offer this service. Community credit unions and small local banks will almost certainly not have the authorization or the forex infrastructure to handle these transactions. Your targets are the major multinational institutions. Think of the largest banks in your country that have robust international banking divisions. It is imperative that you physically go to a branch, ask to speak with the branch manager or the international banking manager, and discreetly inquire about their policies. You do not ask, "Will you be exchanging dinar?" as they are legally bound to deny any knowledge. Instead, you ask a more nuanced question. As part of your foreign currency exchange services, do you currently, or do you plan to, handle the Iraqi dinar and Vietnamese dong? Their response, even if it is a scripted "we only offer the most common currencies at this time," will be telling. Take note of the bank's location, the manager's name, and the general demeanor of the staff. Having a pre-established relationship and knowing exactly which door to walk through on the day of the announcement is an advantage that cannot be overstated. The third step involves your post-exchange financial strategy. The life-changing wealth that is about to be transferred into your account brings with it a monumental responsibility and a target on your back. You must have a team in place before the event. This means consulting with a reputable, fee-based financial planner who specializes in wealth management, not just investment advice. You need to engage a tax attorney or a highly qualified CPA who understands the complex tax implications of a windfall from foreign currency exchange, which can be treated as capital gains in many jurisdictions. Do your research now, read reviews, schedule consultations. The best professionals will be inundated with new clients after the revaluation. You need to be locked in as an existing client beforehand. Finally, you must cultivate a mindset of disciplined patience and stealth. The initial hours and days after the announcement will be a whirlwind of emotion, excitement, and potentially misinformation. There will be fear-mongering and new gurus emerging, claiming to have secret insights into tier levels or trying to sell you new schemes. You must have the mental fortitude to stick to your pre-established plan. Go to your pre-selected bank, follow their procedures, secure your funds, and then quietly begin the process of integrating this new reality into your life with the guidance of your professional team. The goal is not just to become wealthy. The goal is to become wisely and permanently wealthy, to use this historic financial shift as a foundation to build a legacy of security, opportunity, and positive impact for yourself and your family for generations to come. This is the culmination of a long and patient journey, and the final, most important investment you can make right now is not in more currency, but in your own preparedness. This is the moment of truth. The information is no longer speculative, it is operational. The hidden machinery of the global financial system is in motion, and your window for quiet, unimpeded preparation is closing fast. Do not let history record you as a spectator. Take the knowledge you have gained from this video and translate it into immediate, decisive action. Secure your currency, identify your bank, and assemble your professional team. Your future self will thank you for the steps you take today. If you found this breakdown critical to your strategy, then you understand the value of being on the forefront of this information. Subscribe to this channel right now and hit the notification bell, because as we enter these final hours, I will be providing even more targeted, time-sensitive updates that you cannot afford to miss. This journey is ending, and a new one is beginning. Make sure you are fully prepared for it. Subscribe now.